exuberance, their innocence, their bright eyes, and wide smiles. For them, anything is possible. Their dreams have no boundaries, and that's how it should be. Some want to grow up to build castles. Some would love to be captains of sailing ships. Others want to be acrobats, and every once in a while, those dreams come true. This is the story about one energetic little girl whose childhood fantasy became a reality. It's about hard work and extreme sacrifice, but also unbelievable happiness and huge rewards. It's about wanting it bad enough to be the best. It's about the making of a champion, Kim Zmeskal. At a time when most kids are living a carefree existence, enjoying their free time, and just playing with friends, 15-year-old Kim Zmeskal is living a totally different kind of life. She has the goals and priorities that most kids won't even begin to think about until after their high school prom. You see, from the time she was 6 years old, Kim's primary interest in life has been gymnastics. Her desire to be a champion started with a simple dream, but the actual making of a champion has been a complex uphill climb from the very beginning. Kim Zmeskal began that climb 15 years ago, her goal to become a world-class gymnast. Kim's tiny footprints signify the start of a life that has achieved so much so soon. As the oldest child of David and Clarice, Kim's early years in Houston were not much different from most other children. She was always active.
When she was 4, 5, 6 years old, she was always on the furniture, bouncing back and forth, standing on her head, hanging on everything. And as a result, we're very happy that she did get involved in gymnastics.
Kim was introduced to gymnastics at the early age of 6 by her babysitter.
Both my parents worked, so I stayed with the babysitter, and her daughter always was going up to the gym. I used to have to sit there and watch, and when there's a whole bunch of little kids, jumping around on the floor and on the equipment, I decided I wanted to start too.
So Kim's parents enrolled her in a local gymnastics school, which soon became Caroli Gymnastics after the arrival of Coach Bella Caroli in 1982.
When we first took Kimberly to the gym, the very first time, the coach told me that Kim had a special talent, and that was really kind of weird at that time. I didn't really take him seriously, and I said, well, sure, she hops around and jumps around a lot.
Bella, who's always had an eye for talent, immediately recognized Kim's ability and placed her in what he called his Hopes group for a more intensive training regimen.
I think then we realized that maybe we had something special going here.
Kim is something special because she really started from the very first moment, and we followed her through, helping her and directing her little way toward the competitive gymnastics. And also, her coordination is remarkable. Her dance ability is, I would say, exceptional. So with these basic abilities around, she really can build a very strong young individual capable for high performances.
This was Bella's kindergarten, as he called it, and he felt these girls, though so young, had real potential. Bella compared Kim to another dynamo, Mary Lou Retton, who was training in his elite group.
I remember her because she was just like me when I was little. Bella used to call her the little pumpkin. She was little and stocky and real muscular and strong. He says, I remember you were just like that, weren't you? I said, yeah, I was, just like it. So Kim's always been a favorite of mine.
Watching Mary Lou on a daily basis, Kim was able to witness firsthand what it took to climb to the top and realize a dream.
My idol has always been Mary Lou Retton, so I've always looked up to her because she got all the way through it. And now, she's such a celebrity and everything. I would just love to be in her footsteps.
By the age of 9, Kim was learning her first floor routine, an event which she would practice to near perfection.
Well, my favorite event has to be the floor exercise. It's the most fun for me to do. It comes easy for me, the tumbling part, and I like to dance, and I just like to show off in front of a crowd, and I think that's the easiest event to do it on.
Showing off for the crowds by the age of 10 and wanting to be number one, Kim learned early that competition means pressure. At 12, competing in the junior division at the U.S. Gymnastics Championships, Kim tied for 8th place but performed like a champion. By 13 in the U.S. Olympic Sports Festival, Kim placed first in the all-around to become the junior national champion. Bella's Pumpkins were winning big. All the training was beginning to pay off, but what had been a simple passion was now a hectic career, one that entailed longer hours in the gym and less time with friends and family.
I never really get to see her a lot, and sometimes I just wish that she'd be a normal person.
I think it would be better if she were home more often and I could start spending time with her.
Despite the sacrifices, it's a life that Kim has chosen, and now there's no turning back.
Kim's very self-motivated. She pushes us out the door. It was never us pushing her. She would wake us up in the morning saying, we got to go to the gym, we're going to be late.
Well, I think I'm really lucky to have such a supportive family. They're with me 100%. If I decided that I wanted to quit and stop right now, they would let me, but you know, they're here for me, everything I do. Whenever I have a bad workout, you know, I go to them and they make me realize that I still want to do it, and it's nice to have them with me.
For 3.5 years now, the Zmeskal family has lived on this street in a quiet suburban neighborhood in Houston, Texas. The gym where Kim trains is located just minutes away. Now, with everything in close proximity, life would seem to be very orderly. But as organized as the Zmeskals are, their day-to-day lives have been greatly altered by the accomplishments of their famous daughter. And now, the better Kim gets, the more she's beginning to feel the burden of her own success. The everyday lifestyle of the typical American teenager is something that Kim Zmeskal has never known. Though she's only 15, the attention she's already received is more than most people will get if they live to be 115. If you're not careful, it all can be a little disconcerting.
It's different because the friends I used to have, like in elementary school, I had to switch schools, so I'm not with them anymore. They sort of treat me differently. They're like, oh, the famous Kim Zmeskal, and it's like, it's different. I'm going, but I'm not, you know, and it's different. But I don't know.
But Kim does know. She knows that as much as she'd love to spend more time with her friends and family and have a more normal life, that for now, that's just not possible. At best, she only has one day off a week and only gets to see her best friend Lori once a month.
I'm an expert at writing letters now, and she always gets stationery from me because I'm like, write me and send me postcards, but it's fun to hear from her because she always has an exciting story about where she's been, or she's not like any of my other friends, so it kind of makes up for it.
But Lori realizes, just as the Zmeskals do, that no amount of correspondence can make up for not having Kim around more. Unfortunately, her daily schedule is just too tight. It all begins at 6:30 each morning.
Kim, time to get up.
With a little help from Dad, it's time to wake up and get going. Then a trip to the kitchen for a quick breakfast. After that, it's off to the gym 5 minutes away, where practice begins promptly at 7 a.m. For the next 3.5 hours, the elite gymnasts train at a rugged, non-stop pace under the watchful eyes of the master, Coach Bella Caroli. Warm-ups are followed by extensive and repetitive work on each of the 4 apparatus. Once workout is finished, It's time for school, which lasts from 11:30 until 2:30. Kim, a 10th grader, and some of her fellow gymnasts attend the Northland Christian School in Houston. The school's flexibility accommodates the girls' tight schedule. While Kim and company are allowed to eat lunch during class, they're still expected to turn out the same high-quality work as everyone else.
When they've gotten to this point in their gymnastics career, they have acquired so much more self-discipline. They're so focused on being very goal-oriented in what they need to do to progress to the next level, that skill has transferred over into their studies. They're terrific students. I had one teacher just the other day that wanted a whole school full of them, so if Mr. Crowley has some more, then bring them on.
From school, Bella's best student heads home for a nap, a viewing of her favorite soap, Days of Our Lives, and a chance to catch her breath. There's no long rest, though. At 5, it's back to the gym for another 4-hour workout. Now, not all teenagers are cut out for this type of exhaustive 6-day-a-week schedule. Needless to say, the sacrifice has been great for everyone concerned.
Sometimes family get-togethers, Christmas, Easter, that type of thing, have suffered because of the fact that she's had something else to do at the gym. Our family has been always very understanding about it, and but we've enjoyed it. I don't think if we had to do it over again, we'd still do the same thing for it, because she's put so much effort into what she's doing.
Kim's effort has paid off handsomely with unparalleled success. Her performances have catapulted her to the top of women's gymnastics and have made her America's best bet for a medal at next year's Olympics. What's made it possible for this 4'7", 80-pound gymnast to reach such heights is her exceptional ability to handle the pressure of the big moment.
I think the pressure's fine because I'm in gymnastics for myself. That's why I started, and that's why I'm still in it. I'm in it so that I can be the best gymnast I can be. That's why I'm glad that we got to start competing at a younger age, so that now it's not as stressful and everything. But I think I usually do better when I have more pressure on me.
Her mental strength is more than remarkable. She is capable for tremendous mental concentration. And she can squeeze out from her preparation some unusual performances on very important moments.
One of those moments occurred at the McDonald's American Cup this past February. Her teammate, Betty Aquino, another fast-rising Caroli student, had just secured the all-around championship on her final event of the competition. Kim, knowing the gold was out of reach, was up next.
That was a weird situation because before I went on, I knew I couldn't win, but it's like, I was like, okay, put my music on now, I want to go, because I felt like I was going to do the best routine I'd ever done, and I think I did.
An extraordinary perfect score under the circumstances, a true testament to Kim's unwavering determination. When it comes to sports, it goes without saying that athletes need incredible skills to perform at the highest levels. But what may be more important is the right amount of heart and desire. All the great ones know it's something that can't be taught. You either have it or you don't. Sometimes, though, one needs a little help unlocking that potential and pointing it in the right direction. In the world of gymnastics, if you've got the right stuff deep down, no one is better at harnessing it than motivator extraordinaire Bella Caroli. His list of past champions reads like a who's who of gymnastics, each one a strong personality, unique in her own way, but all tied together by a common thread, their drive to the top, orchestrated by the same man. Not everyone approves of his strict coaching techniques or his demonstrative, often disruptive behavior during competitions, but no one can ever question the results of the legendary, charismatic Bela Karolyi. 7 Olympic champions, 15 world champions, 5 U.S. national champions. His coaching consistency is remarkable. Whenever his current crop of star gymnasts steps down, there always seems to be a new set of young upstarts ready to take over. Kim Zmeskal was one of those young upstarts once. Having seen many of the great ones come and go, she knows the Karolyi magic.
He has the experience, and also he works us really hard, and I think what makes the difference is that Bela makes us work when we don't want to work. You know, when we're tired, most coaches would just say, okay, well, since you're tired, no, we'll call it a day, but Bela makes you keep working.
It's Bela's work ethic that separates him from other coaches. He lets his young gymnasts know there's a job to be done, and that only through total dedication at workouts can they succeed in competition.
Oh, gosh, now Kim, I can't believe this. Kim, you've done another statement of your discipline.
One look at the faces of his charges will tell you just how serious he is.
People started to have the idea, to create this false idea. Probably Bela has a magic on those moments. Can something whisper on their ears and they just became tigers. They gonna be super concentrated and gonna be super effective. That does not happen. I have to confess, and I have to tell the truth. Does not exist. What does exist? A consistent, long, sturdy preparation. Where I am every day, I'm demanding the same attitude. Where I'm demanding the same kind of approach. Aggressive, strong. Don't go away. Don't give up. That's the time you have to prove it, day after day.
For any athlete, regardless of their accomplishments, there will be an occasional off day. According to Bela, Kim's lapses seem to occur mainly during practice.
She has weaknesses like anybody else. Probably her consistency through the long year preparation is not the one what I would like to see. Her self-discipline from time to time is not the one, as not as sturdy like I would like to see it.
But what Bela does like to see are Kim's results during competition. His demand for repetitious, exhaustive training has helped prepare her for those especially difficult moments that have become Kim's trademark.
I've seen Kim a lot in workouts, not really give 100% sometimes, and I think as an athlete myself, we all have those days where you just don't feel up to it and you're not really working out to your full potential. But she is a fierce competitor. She's got a heart of iron and a stomach of steel. I'm telling you what, you put her in a pressure situation, you can count on her.
In gymnastics, that's what it comes down to. You work hard, everybody's talented, everybody's strong at this level, but when it really comes down to it, it's that 30 seconds to a minute and a half that you're out there at that moment that you have to hit, and that's what Kim does.
If it's true that Kim responds warmly to the spotlight, credit must also go to the presence and influence of another person, teammate Betty Aquino. As close as these two are in talent and in day-to-day proximity, the question arises, could this rivalry ever become bitter? Again, the motivator in Bela prefers to see a potentially disastrous situation as one that has its advantages.
If that direct competition, which is just another young athlete, stands right next to you and performs, gosh, I'm looking over there and I say, hey, good Lord, look at that one done it. I'm gonna do it. If I'm not gonna do it, she's gonna get the credit. I don't want it, so I'm gonna push myself. Here is that everyday rivalry. And from this friendly rivalry comes ultimate advantage, the great athletic result.
We push each other, basically. It's not like we're enemies or anything, like we're fighting against each other. When we're in competition, we're competing against each other. You know, she does something better, I'm going to do it better than her. And if I can't win, I'm glad to see her win, because it's basically 1-2.
Kim and Betty and the other elite gymnasts are a tight-knit group. During the summer and before really big competitions, they're taken off to a huge ranch that Bela and his wife Marta built 1.5 hours north of Houston. There, in an almost camp-like atmosphere, the girls enjoy an isolated existence, away from all the normal, everyday distractions back home. But no one ever forgets who rules, who decides when the fun ends and the work begins again.
I think he tries different ways of training. I sometimes don't always agree with what he does, but then he knows he has that child and he has to get the best out of her at all times.
When it comes to getting the best out of any gymnast, nobody does it better than Bella Caroli.
He's almost the whole reason. I mean, I couldn't have gotten half where I've gotten without him.
The Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, Indiana, the site of the 1991 World Gymnastics Championships. Nothing comes close to this competition or the Olympic Games in providing a gymnast with the ultimate test of character and ability. These are the events that every gymnast dreams of winning and the ones that coaches like Bella Caroli live for. Now, for Kim Zmeskal, the past 2 years have been filled with one confidence-building experience after another, all building up to the big time, championships like these. With 1989 and the Junior National Championship came recognition, but in 90 and 91, Kim would explode, shooting to the top of the seniors division.
Sure, she is something else, where the moment comes, when everybody's falling apart, when most of the other athletes are having hard time to controlling their own emotions. She comes out from the backwoods and does some unusual performances.
Out of the backwoods indeed. At the McDonald's American Cup, top countries showcase their premier athletes. Bella Caroli uses it as a coming-out party for his best students. Nadia Comaneci won it in '76. Mary Lou Retton is a 3-time champion. And Kim Zmeskal had her turn in '90. In her first major international competition, Kim began her 2-year rise to the top by winning in surprising style.
Well, American Cup in 1990 was a big thrill to me because I went into that competition not thinking that I was going to be able to win, and then to come off of a fall from the preliminary day, you know, to win it meant a lot to me. And then I think that gave me a lot of confidence in all the rest of the meets, you know, last year.
The following month, Kim added to that success by becoming the first to score a perfect 10 in the history of the U.S. Challenge competition. What could possibly top that? Well, how about perfection on the floor?
Looks good. Very good.
1990 was destined to become Kim's year. At 14, she became the youngest woman ever to win the all-around at the U.S. National Championships. But with success came physical stress. Her body was beginning to show signs of wear from years of constant pressure. Kim competed in the Goodwill Games despite a nagging wrist injury, and it showed in the results. Kim placed 6th in the all-around. A fall off the uneven bars didn't help.
One thing you have to think about is the gymnasts, they essentially walk on their hands, so there's much more stress to a gymnast's wrist than in other sports. It has bothered her so much at times that she's had to pull out of competition, specifically at the Goodwill Games. We had to take her out of the vault. It was bothering her so much.
But Kim bounced back. A perfect 10 and an all-around title at the McDonald's Challenge against stiff Soviet competition ended her glorious first year in the spotlight. 1991 started relatively slowly. At the McDonald's American Cup, it was teammate Betty Aquino who would take home the gold. Betty nailed a perfect score of her own on the vault, her first ever. And the question now became, how would Kim handle the pressure? No problem. At the '91 U.S. National Championships, Kim became the first woman to win back-to-back all-around titles since Tracy Talavera in 1982. An important victory despite the absence of an injured Betty Aquino. It provided the momentum Kim would need entering the biggest competition of her career to date, the 1991 World Championships. Early in the week, Kim helped the U.S. women's team make history. Her 10 on the vault secured their first ever silver medal. But it was her signature floor routine 2 nights later that turned the gymnastics world upside down. Needing a near-perfect score to unseat defending champion Svetlana Boginskaya in the all-around, Kim turned it loose. No U.S. woman had ever finished higher than 7th at the Worlds. America's Kim Zmeskal had just won the gold. As unlikely as it seemed to gymnastics insiders and to Kim herself before the event started, the name Zmeskal will now forever be linked to the title 1991 All-Around World Champion. It was made possible by years of intense work and a burning desire to be the best. It comes from a coaching philosophy that says no goal is out of reach, no amount of success is unattainable. It's that kind of attitude that should serve Kim Zmeskal well, not only as she prepares for Barcelona, but in all her years to come.